Welcome everyone to another episode of Time for BL. This is the podcast where we review movies, TV shows, novels, and comics, all in the boys love genre. JD Young back again with a new episode of Vice Versa. We are on episode 3 and I am so excited to see what is to come. So jumping right in, last episode they met with Pa and Ink. That's not their name in the series. That's not their name in real life either. But they met with Pa and Ink to see if they could be the person they're looking for to help them get back to the next universe or the other dimension. But it turns out they weren't. Pa and Ink were each other's. Yeah. Now to find out who will join them, or they're each other's. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for them. I'm giving them all my love. That vein in Jimmy's arm, it just does something. I don't know. I never knew that a vein popping as someone shakes another person's hand could give me feelings. But anyway, so like this whole opening scene with the two of them talking and saying that they're just going to live their lives in the universe and whatever comes is just like so cute. And again, I can never remember the name of Jimmy's character. Puen, I think. But Puen or Tun, whatever. He, the look on his face when it's like, how do you feel if it turns out we're each other's portkey? And oh god, I can't remember his name either. Tele. Is like, I'm okay with that. Like, oh my god. And then them being told it's like finding your soulmate. Oh gosh, that whole opening was just beautiful, and I like that they acknowledge, of course, what happened in the episode before and explain that it was more of a probability. We don't know for sure what makes someone else's portkey, what makes people each other's portkey. We just know they start to dream when they find the person, and these people, of course, don't know exactly about finding the portkey because they haven't been able to travel back to their dimension yet. But it always makes me go, has someone traveled back from the other dimension? Like, is there a way that they can find the groups as well and be like, all right, this is what we did and this is how you get back? That's all I'm thinking about now. Are they going to be able to talk to someone who has traveled back and forth between the dimensions already and is able to go, oh yeah, this is what happened and this is how we solved it? Okay, so the cafe scene, of course, before the cafe scene, we saw that Tun was late in picking up Tele and admitting that he had just gotten out of bed when he said that he was on his way, I'm guessing. But then they go to this little cafe, and at the cafe they're actually scouting it to see if it's a place where the main characters could meet. So basically he's doing some location scouting, which is really cool to show that part of the filmmaking / TV show production process. But what's really great about it as well is we see the two of them as they forge their friendship. It's almost kind of like they're courting each other in a way, some way, with the whole thing. It's location scouting, but they're going kind of on a date to a cafe, and instead of Tun eating the ice cream, he has Tele eat the ice cream and tell him what it's like, and he's asking him how he feels about the place, and Tele is like, I'm not really wowed by it, as if they themselves are the main characters trying to find somewhere that's going to be their special place together. It's really cute. And we saw that as well in the last episode where they thought they were each other's portkey and they were basically on a date, like going around doing things together, going on what they would find a really fun date before they found out they were supposed to meet Pa and Ink. Okay, meeting with the writing team and trying to figure out what kind of ending. I'm like, hold up, so they didn't have an ending written when they were pitching the movie to the studio, or were they wanting to rewrite the ending to be something else? And that also is giving me like a fear, because I'm like, oh my gosh, is it going to be an open ending for the show? Like, is this foreshadowing the show? Is the movie that they write going to be like basically telling the story of our characters and foreshadowing everything that happened to them? Are they going to meet again after a long time, and we get an open ending? Please don't do this to us. Please don't. I would be very upset, in the words of Drake. Oh boy. And I love how, like, all of a sudden, like, because of course he's like, I don't know how to write a tagline and synopsis. When Tele is like, he's sick, he automatically just goes into, yes, I think I have the flu, and goes into acting out that whole thing on point. That was awesome. But then they were like, you're a workaholic, you worked when you had a 39-degree fever. I was like, are you kidding? He can't catch a break. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see what happens there. How is he going to do this to get ready for the meeting with Tess's father? So this show does a lot of time jumps. So it's like 3 weeks later, 1 month later, 5 days later. It's a lot of time jumps. And the problem with the time jumps for me is because they're happening so quickly, because now we're just at episode 3 and we have another time jump, it's not helping me feel the pain of how long they've been stuck in this dimension for, if you get what I mean. I think the more effective ways of showing it are montages, or anything else to just show that waiting for time to pass, waiting to go back home. Those are the more effective ways. So I guess, like, what was it, episode 2? They kind of did something like that. We're waiting for Tun to come back, or the end of episode 1. I'd have to go back. Yeah, end of episode 1. So waiting for Tun to come back, and then finding out that I was gonna say Jimmy, but no, that he's now traveled to a person who's traveled to a new dimension. Like, there has to be another way to show the waiting, other than just doing 5 days later, 6 days later, 2 weeks later, so that we can really feel the burden of how long it's been, and see how much Tele and Puen want to go back home, and like how this time, like taking all this time to go back home, is really affecting them. They said that they're just gonna try and flow with the universe, but I feel like there needs to be, like, there hasn't been a mourning period, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I haven't really seen a mourning period, mourning what they have lost. So something else I've noticed, Tele gets very embarrassed when Tun gets very affectionate. And it's already been established that in this universe, or in this dimension, it's not really a big deal, but he's still, like, really embarrassed by it. So something I've noticed about his character. And also that Tun and Puen are, Tun liked Tess, and Puen seems to not be afraid to just be affectionate, but I don't know if it's just his personality, like he's affectionate with everyone. I mean, we saw in the other universe when he met Tele, he wore the hat just to be like, yes, you're my fan, I'm wearing your hat, and we're in the bathroom, I'm kind of stuck with you, all right, thank you. And then again, when Tele was working as the dead body, how he wasn't afraid to, like, go in and show him, like, this is how close I'm going to be to your face, okay? Like, so maybe it's also just in his personality to just be very affectionate no matter what. And yes, the episode is called Soft Blush, and I'm trying to see is it that the two main characters are always wearing a color that coordinates with the episode's title or episode's name? All right, so I'm going into the second part, and I was wondering what they were going for with Pwen, losing the thumb drive, getting drunk, causing them to miss the meeting, and then with a little preview, it looks like it's really just going into Tele having to have that discussion with Pwen of how would you feel if, Tun ruined your life? Like, it wouldn't feel good. So why are you ruining his life? And that is awesome conversation to be had, because Tele of course already thought about it when he was looking at Tess and like, oh my gosh, this kid is whose life I'm in. Oh gosh, what if he ruins my life? Like, he automatically was able to think of that. And Pwen, I guess, hasn't really sat down and thought about the full spectrum of everything and where this could lead to. But yeah, I am very excited to see what he does to make up with Tun's friends. And I'm still trying to find out how Oishi and I guess Yamaha was able to travel to the other universe. I'm guessing Nivea as well will make an appearance in canon. Have they as well? Is canon going to print on plastic? That is a question. Okay, so Tun all right into each other, pitching their screenplays at 26 Pictures. I don't know how the hell Tun gets to pitch another screenplay if that's the way he reacted to them criticizing his friend's screenplay, which, the people who go through screenplay, they can be harsh, especially if you're a newbie, and especially if they're not really looking for amateur work. They want, of course, the screenwriters they already know to submit. Sometimes it's the film industry. It's who you know for a lot of stuff. How did he get to work with 26 Pictures again? If that was the way he acted, you're telling me his face wasn't on some wall and they were never let him back in? Oh my gosh, it's a good thing he knows Tess, I guess. So as I'm watching Jimmy, Pwen, Tun, whatever, writing on the window, I just realized another really cool detail could have been Tun, the writer, is left-handed and Jimmy is right-handed, something like that, to add to the whole you're different thing. They established some little things here and there, but I feel there's so much more they could have done to really show that they're in a different dimension, or just show for the other characters to have them go, he's really different. I feel there's so many other ways it could be done that are not being utilized by the show. But in other slightly related news, I do want to go to a bar where I get to sit in a swing while I have my drinks. That someone needs to make it happen. How is what happening on the glass window not vandalism? Can those markers be wiped off? What kind of markers are they using? It's also interesting because it means everyone has to walk around with markers all the time because paper is plastic. Question: do they use paper bags at grocery store and they're trying to get people to transfer to using plastic bags at grocery stores? All right, so with Tele and I keep wanting to say Jimmy, my man Tun, talking about love and have you ever been in love and all that stuff, and then Tele says he's single by choice. It does make me slightly concerned with them going with a romantic storyline, because there are people who are single by choice and are very happy to be single by choice and have lived their fulfilled life in whatever they do, be it they have kids or also go child free, or they just raise their pets, whatever it is, and how they choose to live their life. I'm like kind of like, oh gosh, I hope they don't turn this into a no one is even people who are single by choice really want love, and if they find that right person, that right connection, they will truly be happy. I'm kind of worried about that. Hopefully they don't harp too much on him saying he's single by choice and then force well, it wouldn't be forcing because they're kind of set up to be it's destiny kind of thing, but I'm worried about that with like forming a relationship and all that stuff. Then again, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe if they address it well enough, it will be a compelling storyline, but kind of just have to wait and see, I guess. Okay, hold up. So the way Jimmy's character Pwen delivered that, I keep saying that to myself, delivered that line, "From the moment we met, I've been falling head over heels for you." Oh my gosh. I swear if he turns it into a joke, I'm going to be upset. That was so sweet. That was so awesome. But one thing I'm noticing about Tele, he's not really into love stories. Okay, cool. But you want to be a colorist on movies. You don't get to choose which movies you do. They give you like your scenes. They give you whatever to edit or color or whatever. Are you going to tell them not to give you romance to work on? Like, you have to watch, like, because I'm thinking like, no, you have to kind of watch a little bit of everything. Because when I was like doing my editing courses, but also editing projects and stuff, I had to make sure that if I know we're going to be working on some kind of horror film, that I'm going to watch a couple horror films to kind of see what the editing is there, how they do their jump scares, all that stuff, so I can get an idea for like what I'm going to be doing when I'm editing or horror film. And it's the same thing with comedy, with romance, all of that stuff. Like, you have to have an idea of what's out there, and especially what style is popular, so that you can do it as well in yours. And this was like, especially since he's working at a studio, he's the son of the studio exec or the owner, but he also works there and he's bringing in this project there. This is a great opportunity for him as his character to study this romance film and figure out how they're going to do their romance film, like if there's any techniques in there that they should utilize with theirs. And he fell asleep through it. I'm like, what kind of professional are you? Like, I would say that is a flaw in his character, especially to what his career field is. It's like, if someone tells me they want to work in movies and I'm like, oh, okay, let's go see a movie. Let's go see a movie together. And then they're like, oh, not this type of movies. I want to edit like the high. I'm trying to like think of like some stupid like I want to do high end weird subculture whatever. Be like, what? Or if someone told me they're really into documentaries, so I'm like, oh, I found this fascinating documentary, let's watch this and see, what you take from that document. Oh, I don't mean documentaries like this. I don't want those documentaries. I only want these documentaries. It's like, if you like documentaries and you want to edit documentaries or film documentaries, you would watch an array of them to know what is being utilized out there, to know what to use. I'm sorry, I just went on a career tangent. It's just that I feel like is a really major flaw with Tele. To me, it would have made more sense for what's my man's name? Pwen's character to be the one that falls asleep during the romance film, or be the one that doesn't really watch movies because he acts in them all the time and he's not really interested in it. He's just doing his job to make a life for himself, and he maybe he's done with acting in a way, like he's not as satisfied with acting anymore, and like watching movies is just really boring for him. But Tele, movies are exciting, and in every genre is exciting. I feel like that would have been a better fit, like to have that switch between the two of them and have it that Ton all of a sudden hates romance and everybody's like, what do you mean you hate romance? You write romance. Like, that would have been really, really cool. So KFC is in this universe as well. Only the sponsors exist in this universe or this dimension. So KFC exists in this dimension as well. That I find, I think I already said my piece on that. But it's kind of goes to the same Oishi thing where I feel like they could have done something with it, where it's still KFC and they still mention KFC, but they're like, it's called Chicken Fried Kentucky. Something. Or here it's only called the Colonel, but yeah, it's the same KFC. It still has all this 11 ingredients, spices, and whatever it's called. I don't know. Their special recipe. I feel like there's so many unique ways that the sponsors could have been utilized that JMM played more safe with. And it's not just JMM, it's the sponsors probably, throwing their weight around like, you want our money, you gotta do this. Bark, dog, bark. Something. The subtitles said chop chop, and that is such a British thing. The only people I've ever heard use that are my British family, and that is it. Chop chop, let's go now. I can't even do a British accent. Chop chop, are you ready? Chop chop, we're running late. Oh gosh, that is I can't recall. At least I guess it's a universal term in that we all kind of know what it means. But I feel like people who are learning English as a second language would probably be confused by it. And this is why. Chop. When you hear the word chop, you're thinking of chopping something. So if you're learning English as a second language and the only way you've heard the word chop being used is in term of chopping something up, when he says chop chop, it might be like, what is he chopping? What is he gonna cut? I was just thinking about that because a lot of people, I know for myself, I use TV shows to learn languages. Like I'll put something with Spanish subtitles or in Spanish so I can focus on learning some Spanish dialogue and the way it sounds and all that stuff, and even with reading it, learning to read it better, quicker, and all that stuff. So I just saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, that needs a asterisk. Not chopping things. This is a term to tell someone to hurry up. But after the whole KFC thing, that whole montage of them eating KFC, and then with the lotus flowers, learning that people use lotus for love instead of roses and all that. Those were that was a nice little detail about the universe. But I noticed the part where Tele has the fries in his mouth and not Jimmy Tun bites the fry while it's hanging out of his mouth, and I'm like, are they trying to show that Tun is catching feelings? Because I feel like it's showing Tun is catching feelings, and I'm hoping I'm not mistaken because that's what it feels like. But because we're in like episode 3 and it's already showing like things like that, I'm like, what's about to happen? And also, y'all notice it says uncut version on YouTube? Like, is it because of Kin Porsche uncut version? Is everybody now like, yeah, this is the uncut version to get people to watch? Or are they really showing a different version on TV and then they're doing like an editor's version on YouTube? Is that what's going on? And I'm still at a part where we're going into part 4 and they showed the little like what's coming up in after the break, and I noticed that it looks like they're about to use was it Nivea? Nivea still exists in this universe, people. So if you got bad skin and you get into a different dimension, it's okay. Nivea is still on the shelf. Do you have eczema? Nivea still exists in this dimension. Hold on. They're taking a bath together. Okay. My Tele has been cooking in this tub for however long. And he got in his soak in the tub. He didn't like wash off first or anything. And also Tele said he was taking a shower and he got in a bath. And why was the door open? Why was the door wide open? Anyway. Also, real quick, I just wanted to say, was the room cold? Because Jimmy, his chesticles. Okay. Did they really subtitle the woo who? Oh god, they subtitled the woo who. Oh god, is this gonna be the best BL of 2022? No, it is not. Is it gonna be the best BL of July, August? Maybe not. Maybe not. But is this a BL that subtitles woo hoo? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh god. Alright, so that was actually really cute. The two of them basically kind of doing mini confessions on the back of each of the helmets. But one helmet says you're so cute, the other one's like you're great, you're so great. One helmet, Tele's helmet says the person wearing this is cute, and Tun's helmet says you are so great. And that is like adorable, kind of like mini confessions from each of them. That's so sweet. This is just gonna be one of the sweet ones, I hope. Okay. All right. So Tun has been thinking, what if in order to travel back, it's about finding your soulmate, the person you fall in love with. So you're falling in love with someone and they are your port key that takes you back. And I guess this is going to go to the whole thing of Tele not really believing in love and is single by choice and doesn't understand or doesn't believe in falling in love or something like that. Because even if you look at the messages that they each wrote on the back of each other's helmets, the one that was on Tele's helmet said the person wearing this is cute. It's very flirty. But what he wrote was you are so great, which can just be like you are the greatest friend ever. So now I'm wondering this might be me kind of just putting something like in there that doesn't exist, but it is making me wonder if Tele is like asexual, and it's not even that he just doesn't like romance because for him it's just icky. Like he's just not interested in this romance, so he doesn't understand romance whatsoever. So actually not even asexual, maybe aromantic. So because he's not into romance, doesn't understand romance, he's not even realizing he's being flirted with. But that also means when he does realize he's being flirted with, he'd be like, oh, but maybe he's not aromantic. I don't know. Could be asexual then. And then like being flirted with and realizing being flirted with, like, oh, I like this part. Oh, I have no idea what they're going to do with it. They're probably just going to make it that he never fell in love until now. He's now fallen in love. And now he shall live his life in love. But overall with this episode, like, I think I said a bunch of stuff that I really wish they changed. I already said before, I wish they would kind of show all the other people and what they look like in the other universes to give us an idea of how like different everyone is, because I think doing that would be a very good idea. Like just like when they're in that meeting, everyone's sitting around, if we saw what their other bodies look like, it would, like the same way we see the actor, Tele instead of Tess, that would, I think, have made everything better in those scenes. I feel like a lot of these, I already said that a lot of these jumps in time, we don't need so many so quickly. Can kind of finding another way to kind of show that time has passed. And there's many ways you can show that. You can show day turning to night. You can show like maybe a flower blooming and like the time it took the flower to bloom, so we know it's a different day. In which show was it where they did it by showing the changing of the shirts? Like the shirt color kept changing as a person kept walking, so we knew it was like different days. Even things like that give you an idea of like the time passing by, so you can see how long the whole process is taking. And I feel like they haven't, instead of finding creative ways to tell the story, they're just going 5 days later. Which there's so many creative ways that you can show 5 days later without it getting stale or repetitive. So yeah, those are my main things. I don't know if this is going to be a slow burn or if they're going to kind of get into the romance next episode, because we know there's going to be romance. We know they're going to end up dating. That's how they sold the show, to get everybody to watch. So I am wondering if they're going to hurry up and jump into the dating portion, because I feel like they need to do that. They need to get into the wooing and the dating, because like with so many exciting choices of shows out here now, no matter how good or bad they are, vice versa is not competing very well with the array. It's still very cute, it's still very well written, it's still very well edited, put together, everything, because of course it's a GMM TV series. But even shows that are not doing as well on all those fronts are doing better on the keeping people interested, because they did something silly or they have an intriguing storyline, no matter how trashy it is front, kind of deal. And it's also really hard because sure, a lot of people don't like hearing it, because there are people who are annoyed by it, but guess what, it's coming up. Everything that's coming out is going to be compared to Kin Porsche, because Kin Porsche ended up being an international success of a BL. Kin Porsche ended up being the first BL for so many people and has like become this global phenomenon. They're going on a world tour. They're coming to America. So yeah, like the Kim Porsche, anything coming after Kim Porsche is going to be compared to Kim Porsche, and that sucks for everything else. But you know what? Hopefully it's going to push everyone to write better storylines, and I'm hoping it doesn't like push everyone to go, okay, we need more sex and naked bodies, because you don't. There's many BLs that were able to give us a great, amazing story without even the mention of sex, with barely even seeing hands touch, and they were still able to give you a compelling story for the whole thing and make you really see like these two people fall in love. I think My Love Mix-Up is a great example of that, because it's just a cute story about teenagers and they're falling in love, and we don't see them holding hands, kissing, none of them. Because it's supposed to show this like pure innocent love. And so I do think that it is possible, if vice versa wants to do the whole like testing the boundaries, but still keeping it to like that level where it's not going so far that you can't air it on TV. I think it's definitely possible to show like, have vice versa be a very sweet, compelling story, and you don't need the sex for that. You don't need spicy scenes for that. So yeah, that's it for my reaction to episode 3 of Vice Versa. I did enjoy it. I really do love it. I'm very excited to see what is coming next. I want them to start, because I feel like Pwen was just like, or Tun is like secretly trying to date Tele without dating Tele outright. like trying to put in there like I have feelings and the feelings are for you, but he hasn't quite figured out how to say it. So he's trying to say it without saying it, and I'd like to see him outright confess, or hopefully, if that is what I think is gonna happen next episode, but outright just be like, hey, let's go out, let's try dating. But he also is like dealing with someone who's single by choice, so he's probably also trying to respect his decision, his life. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Time for BL. Hope to see you next time when we make some more Time for BL. Love ya, thank ya, and have a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, whatever it is, wherever you are.